your boy back with my week 3 NFL predictions. Preseason for these NFL starters is almost over. I give them 3 weeks, then we'll see what they're made of, right? Didn't do as well as I wanted to last week, 8-8. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of disappointments. I guess you could say some upsets, but we just didn't know yet. We have a clue now. So with no further ado, let's get into this. Starting with the Jets coming off a victory. Aaron Rodgers' first victory as a New York Jet, hosting the Patriots, matter of fact. They play defense over there in New England. They got a running game. Matter of fact, number 5 rushing offense in the league. Jets are middle of the road, both passing and running. But again, we've got to see what they're made of first. They got to gel a little bit. Got to get the ball to Garrett Wilson. Got to keep the ball in Breece Hall hands right. Give him his 10 to 15 touches out the backfield. Target him 5 to 7 times. That's what you want, especially if you're a fantasy football owner. He's the guy this week. Ramondre Stevenson, he's the guy in New England. I don't think it's going to be enough New England. Y'all are playing some good ball, but the Jets, they're going to be in the playoffs. Low-scoring game. Final score, 21-17. The Jets. You got the 0-2 New York Giants coming off a loss to those Commanders, hitting the road to Cleveland to play these 1-1 Browns led by Deshaun Watson, who has not looked the part. Matter of fact, he hasn't looked good since he left Houston. It's all good. Amari Cooper, you showing your football age because you're still in your 20s. David Njoku, of course, he's been out. No Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford has been looking good so far this season. Probably the only bright spot besides this defense. Got to get together, Cleveland, while out there in New York. A superstar has arisen. Malik Neighbors is starting the ball, and he's balling early. 10 catches, 127 yards, and a touch. They targeted him 18 times. Fantasy football owners must start every week. Even this week against this Cleveland defense. He's going to get his targets. He's going to get his catches. I think this is too much to ask of New York to head to Cleveland with this defense to get a win. I see the Browns pulling out the victory. Deshaun, you getting your second win. Final score, 21-17, the Browns. Now, this game should be a good one, both fantasy football-wise and just watch it live on your television. Got the 1-1 Philadelphia Eagles coming off a loss to those Falcons, hitting the road to New Orleans to play those 2-0 Saints, who just opened up a can of whoop ass in Dallas on them Cowboys. They're feeling good. They're riding high. Saquon Barkley, number 4 rusher in the league right now. Number 3 in fantasy football. Did not have as good a game in week 2 as he did in week 1, but he's going to be consistent for you if he can stay healthy, right? While over there in New Orleans, number 2 fantasy quarterback is Derek Carr, who was on the waiver wire in most leagues. I bet he's not now. Alvin Kamara, he's been in your starting lineup. He probably was your first running back off the board. Did you know that he was going to be the number 1 fantasy football player after week 2? It's crazy, right? Of course, number 1 running back. This team is legit. That defense, number 7 in the league, while the Eagles are second to last, but they got a good offense. I think the Saints at home with this defense is going to be too much. The Eagles are starting to spiral, but it's going to be a high-scoring game. Final score, 35-31. Them Saints are going 3-0. We got the Houston Texans coming off a victory over those Bears, hitting the road to Minnesota to play an impressive 2-0 Vikings team, beating the 49ers last week in a shocking win. I was shocked. Maybe you wasn't. But how about Nico Collins? Did you know he's the number 1 receiver in all of football? 252 yards, number 2 in fantasy, number 7 offense, number 9 defense. This Texans team is legit across the board. Not a shabby team over there in Minnesota right now. They do have the number 5 receiver in football. Of course, that's Justin Jefferson. Defense, they play better than where they are. They're about middle of the road. Of course, that offense is sitting in top 10. But I think Minnesota at home, still not going to be enough because C.J. Stroud is the truth. I've been on this hype train since last year, since he was in college. This boy is real deal, and he got a complete team around him. It's not stopping this week. I see the Texans taking the victory on the road. Final score 28-21 over the Vikings. Let's see. We got the 0-2 Denver Broncos coming off a loss to those Steelers, 13-6. Hitting the road to Tampa to play this very hot 2-0 Bucs team led by Baker Mayfield. Man, Denver can't run the ball. They can't pass the ball. They have a good defense, but irrelevant if you can't do anything else, right? Not much to talk about on that side, so let's come on back over here to Tampa, where Baker Mayfield is the #1 quarterback in fantasy football. He'll be throwing to people like Chris Godwin, who's the #2 wide receiver in fantasy football, #1 overall. Look at that. Also, Mike Evans still doing his thing and doing it big. Baker Mayfield, I'll tell you what, if the season ended today, I don't know if he's not getting the MVP. He'll be my vote. This team is real deal. I think this is going to be an easy win for them at home against these Broncos to go 3-0. Final score 28-17. Okay, Bucks. Got the 1-1 Green Bay Packers coming off a victory over those Indianapolis Colts last week, led by Malik Willis, hitting the road to Tennessee to play these Titans, led by Will Levis, who's sitting on the #1 defense, who also has a pretty good running game with Pollard. Calvin Ridley's becoming his new #1 target, and you still got D-Hop. Man, this offense on paper should be putting up more than what they're doing, right? But they're still sitting at 0-2. Now, they did play a tough Jets defense last week, Sauce Gardner, but still no excuses. This is the NFL, right? On this side of the ball, Josh Jacobs, #3 rusher in the league. Malik Willis used his legs last week. He got to do it again. 5 to 7 totes. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stay efficient. No turnovers. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that the Tennessee Titans finally get their first win at home. Final score 21-17. Let's see. You got the 0-2 Indianapolis Colts coming off a loss to those Packers, hosting the 1-1 Chicago Bears, coming off a loss to those Texans. But I think the Bears should be 0-2 because that week 1 performance was pathetic as well, but the defense showed up. They got a good one. Number 9 in the league, but this offense is ranked 30th. Horrible. A doomsday. You got Keenan Allen. DJ Moore looked frustrated last week. You got all these weapons. Got to get it together, Caleb, or y'all going to be sitting at that #1 and #2 pick come draft time. Over here with the Colts, I mean, Anthony Richardson, he's going to get it together. Still got one of the better backs in all of football, JT Jonathan Taylor, but hasn't done much so far this year. But they do have a receiver that's been putting up numbers, Alec Pierce, #6 in the league. He's not on the waiver wire. He shouldn't be, but if he is, you might want to scoop him up because I think this is going to continue. I think the Colts are going to get their first win on the season. Anthony Richardson's going to use his legs. Final score 28-21. Colts. Got the 2-0 LA Chargers coming off a victory over those Carolina Panthers. Hitting the road to Pittsburgh. Play these 2-0 Steelers coming off a victory over those Broncos, right? This is going to be a battle of 2 very good defenses. The Steelers, #5 in the league currently, while the Chargers are #2. TJ Watt, he's been a game wrecker all year, as he's been most of his career when he's healthy. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, probably going for a 3rd. While on the other side, they got the leading rusher in the NFL in J.K. Dobbins. He's been balling. I think these two are going to connect a lot during this game. I hope J.K. leaves healthy because I have him. I need him, right? Najee Harris has been the bell cow with the Steelers, while Warren has been a little cleanup here and there. I think the Steelers got enough to get a victory at home over these Chargers. Final score in a low-scoring game, 19-15 Steelers. Got the 1-1 Miami Dolphins coming off a loss to the Bills, led by Skylar Thompson, hitting the road to Seattle to play these 2-0 Seahawks, coming off a victory over those Patriots. Back to Miami first. Not only did they take a loss last week, but they also lost their quarterback. Now Tua has been put on IR, can come back as early as week 8. So if you dropped him in your leagues, try to get him back. If you got an IR slot, slide them down, then go pick up a fresh player, right? If someone else dropped them, well, I just gave you a nugget. Tyler, Skyler, whatever his name is, I can't see you doing much against this Seattle team. Y'all got a good defense. What's your number 4? Miami's number 4 in the league. Not bad. You got the number 2 rusher in fantasy football, in Devon Achane. Probably the only player you want to pick up. I got Tyreek Hill. I'm gonna play him. What else can I do, right? He was my number 1 pick. While over there with Seattle, DK Metcalf started balling. Okay, can he keep it going? 10 catches last week, over 100 yards, caught him a touchdown. Will Kenneth Walker be playing? Come back, sir. We need you. But without you, I still think y'all going to get this done. I think this is the easy pick of the week for me. Final score, 28-17. Seahawks go 3-0. Yeah, I'm already smiling. Let me tell you why. Got the Carolina Panthers sitting at 0-2, coming off a loss to those Chargers last week, hitting the road to Vegas to play my 1-1 Raiders, coming off a victory over those Ravens in Baltimore. Proud of that win. Bryce Young has been benched. Has he played his last snap with the Panthers? We shall see. In comes Andy Dalton. What does that mean for our defense? Nothing. Max Crosby named the Defensive Player of the Week this past week. Congratulations, young man. Brock Bowers is the number 2 tight end in all of fantasy football. Number 1 tight end in terms of yards in the league. Gardner Minshew. He is the number 2 quarterback in the league in terms of passing yards. We're starting to move that ball. We can't run the ball yet, but when we do, watch out for my boys. I think we're going to take this one easily at home. Final score, 28-17, and send them Panthers backpacking to Carolina. We got the 1-1 San Francisco 49ers coming off a gut-wrenching loss to those Vikings last week. Heading to LA to play those 0-2 Rams, who got their butts handed to them by the Cardinals. 41 points. Rams currently have the worst defense in the league, but they do have the number 2 passer in Matthew Stafford. He won't be throwing to Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp. You better have a lot of swing passes to Kyron Williams, or y'all going 0-3. But the Niners, they got some injuries of their own. Of course, they were already missing Christian McCaffrey. Now add Deebo Samuels to the injury list. He's dealing with a calf issue. They're going to have to give that ball to the number 2 rusher in the league, Mr. Jordan Mason. He can get it done. But to win this game, I think Brock Purdy is going to have to become a surgeon. He's going to have to hit Jennings. He's going to have to find Ayuk and, of course, Kittles. Be efficient, throw for 320-something yards because the Rams are going to come with it. They don't care about this injury bug that's hit them. I think the 49ers are going to bounce back. Final score, 28-21. The Rams going 0-3, man. Got the 1-1 Detroit Lions coming off a loss to those Bucks last week. Made some bonehead decisions right before the half. Cost them a field goal. Probably cost them the game. Now they head to Arizona to play those 1-1 Cardinals, who put it on the Rams. So they put up 41 points on them boys. Both these offenses can score. Matter of fact, Detroit's the number 2 offense in the league, while the Cardinals are number 7. Both have a running game. Lions, they got Gibbs, but David Montgomery's been balling. Receivers over there with Detroit, they got to get Amon-Ra St. Brown the ball a little bit more, but Jameson's been balling. Laporta, that's the one who I need to show up this year. He hasn't really put together that game that we were used to last year. While over there with the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., and of course James Conner. Nasty combination right there. But they've also been getting that ball to Trey McBride. And right now, I think I'm giving the edge to the Cardinals because of Trey McBride. Get Laporta the ball. Maybe I change my mind. Won't be this week. Final score, 28-24. Cardinals continue that streak. Neither one of these two teams take care of home very well. The 0-2 Baltimore Ravens let my Raiders come in and take care of business, leave with a win. Now they're heading to Dallas to play those 1-1 Cowboys, who gave it up to the Saints. No Vaseline. What do you do? Well, the Ravens are bringing the number 1 offense with them. They're bringing the number 1 tight end in fantasy football with them, and Isaiah Likely. But in all fairness, he did his damage in week 1. Didn't do much last week. They have Derrick Henry. Give that man the ball 20 times. That's why y'all sitting at 0-2. You're not using them right. Cowboys is simple. Rico and Zeke ain't getting it done on the ground. You're going to have to feed CD. You're already putting him in the backfield, and he needs 10 to 15 targets, period. Dak ain't going to run the ball much, but you need to run the ball enough to keep the Ravens on the sideline. Will the Ravens be able to come into the house of Dallas and get a win? I think so. Final score, 24-21. Dang, Dallas, y'all let it happen again. Now, these two teams know how to win. Got the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Bengals by 1 point last week. Now they head to Atlanta to play those 1-1 Falcons, who beat the Eagles by 1 point. This should be a good game. But check this out. Kansas City, they're going to do it without Isaiah Pacheco. Broken fibula, been placed on IR. They're saying at least 6 weeks. Now they're bringing in Kareem Hunt, but come on. He's not going to replace Isaiah Pacheco, not yet anyway. I think that Patrick Mahomes is about to show up and show out. So all you fantasy owners with Patrick and Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, maybe even Kelsey, get ready, because they're going to have to go into playoff mode until they figure out this running game. While the Falcons, you got to pressure Mahomes. You got to protect Kirk Cousins, because when he has time to pass the rock, that's when he can do his thing. Pitts, y'all got to get it going. Drake London, come on, man. And, of course, Bijan. Can y'all take care of home against these Chiefs? I don't think so. I think the Chiefs are going to go 3-0. Final score, 28-24. But it's going to be a close game. We've definitely had some better Monday night games than this one, right? At least on paper. Got the 0-2 Jacksonville Jaguars coming off a loss to the Browns last week. Heading to Buffalo to play those 2-0 Bills after they whooped up on them Dolphins. Trevor Lawrence, what is the issue with you and Christian Kirk? I mean, it's like y'all got a divorce or something. But at least y'all getting the ball more to Travis Etienne. But clearly your guy is Brian Thomas Jr. I don't blame you. That guy's a beast. Look his way a little bit more then, right? Because you're going to need him against these Bills. They got some weapons. How about Shakir? 8 targets, 8 catches. Maybe you want to look in his direction a little bit more, Mr. Josh Allen. Dalton Kincaid. I thought when Diggs left that he was going to be your primary guy. Doesn't seem that way right now. It seems to be James Cook, rightfully so. He has been balling. Between the two of you, you're getting it done. But it's Josh, it's going to be your legs, man. That's going to be the difference this year. Hope you stay healthy because you haven't in the past, but you're a beast when you tuck that ball. Is it enough to get it done? I think so. I think the Bills are going to go 3-0. Going to send Jacksonville back 0-3. Good God almighty. Final score, 24-17. Let's see. In our second Monday night game, yeah, we got another one. Got the 1-1 Washington Commanders after coming off a victory over the Giants this past week. Heading to Cincinnati to take on these 0-2 Bengals, who suffered a loss at the hands of the Chiefs. They bitter about that. We'll see how this one plays out. Washington coming in with the number 10 offense after 2 weeks, while the Bengals coming in with the number 10 defense after 2 weeks. Gotta love that backfield that Washington has to help out that rookie quarterback with Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. Eckler only behind McLaurin in targets and receptions. Gotta love that if you own Austin Eckler in your fantasy leagues and it's increasing. Just hang in there with him. But when it comes down to it, it's going to be Jaden Daniels' legs. You got to use that 4.3 speed. Hit Zach Ertz when you can. One of the best friends a rookie quarterback can have as a good tight end, right? While Joe Burrow, he's struggling on the offensive side of the ball. They're missing T. Higgins. Jamar Chase ain't happy, but he's saying all the right things. Zach Moss in that running game, not doing as well as it should. But I think with that defense and with Joe Burrow, who's a proven winner, not this week, but I still think he's going to be able to get it done at home against this rookie quarterback. Final score, 28-21. It's going to be a good game. And there you have it. My picks are in. Final. I feel better this week. We got more information. These teams are starting to show who they are in the 2024-2025 season. Let's see how it goes. Got a couple bets to put up. I feel good about them too. Meet me back here on Tuesday where we'll hit the results. We'll see how I did in week 3. But until then, peace.